All right, so let's talk about the media for a bit. The media is often described, for the right or for the wrong reasons, as the fourth pillar of democracy, considering as to how the media behaves around the world. Now, the media is expected to act as the voice of the people. It is required to question the government's policies. It is required to be the watchdog in terms of how the government functions. The media must make sure that citizens are informed. But if you take the media out, or if you manipulate the media, then you're virtually taking dissent out of a nation. Now, that's what the Taliban appears to be doing in Afghanistan since they've taken over charge in the country back in August. The media houses have started disappearing, or they simply have not been allowed to function as media houses. Our next report gets you all the details.
This
was the scene after the Taliban took over Afghanistan. A news anchor belting out the bulletin. Behind him, fighters casually carrying rifles and guns. It was a sign of things to come. Afghanistan's media landscape was about to be dismantled. 4 months later, the numbers are out. Media companies are disappearing. Some of them are fed up with the threats. Others don't have funds to keep up. Around 43% of Afghan media outlets have shut down since August. Around 60% of journalists are now jobless.
Media organizations' situation has changed. Their income has decreased. Many of the experienced journalists who had worked in the past 20 years have left the country. The media market has weakened. There are a few media outlets who are doing self-censorship, or some limitations have been imposed on them.
The numbers are staggering. Last summer, Afghanistan had 543 media outlets. Today, 312. That's 231 media companies gone, and 6,400 journalists jobless. Experts cite two problems under the Taliban. First, the overall economic downturn. No money, no advertisements. That's a big source of income gone. Problem number two, censorship. You are not allowed to report against the Taliban in the Islamic Emirate. If you do, it could be your last report.
All of the achievements of this country are being challenged day by day, and media outlets are not any exception to it. We have been affected very badly with the unpleasant situation in Afghanistan. The situation of media outlets and access to information are in a very bad and serious situation.
Women have faced the worst of the crisis. 84% female journalists have lost their jobs under the Taliban. For the record, women are still on air, but they have strict restrictions. Their content is censored. Hijabs are a must, and they too get the occasional threat. Yet a few brave journalists like Shukriya Niyazai still turn up to work.
Considering the timing and situation, we are concerned. We don't know what our future leads to. Will there be certain limitations in media? So we are concerned about these issues.
What Afghan journalists need are assurances on their safety, on their salary, and their freedom to report. But knowing what happened during the first Taliban regime, veteran reporters are really not so hopeful.
Unfortunately, I don't see a bright future, and day by day I lose my hope, because the economic and political situation of Afghanistan is melting down as each day passes.
In contrast, radio has fared better. You can understand why. You can't see women over the radio. You can only hear them. And in the Taliban's warped sense of religion, that is okay. So for now, this radio station in Kabul is still broadcasting. Begum Radio.
For me, the radio was very obvious, the obvious solution, because it's just a voice, there is no image, and it was a fully dedicated radio for women. And in my belief, I thought that Taliban wouldn't forbid this kind of approach, because it's a public service for women mostly.
The Taliban has approved this radio station, albeit with some curbs. There's a separate floor for their male colleagues. The pop songs are out. The religious numbers are in. But these women say it's worth all the restrictions.
The depression is all over the country, especially on women. And for the one who are working here, it's a fresh breeze, it's a way of getting out of the house and to keep working and occupying the public space. It's very important that to show them that we can continue to work. There is a hope.
Inside these radio rooms and TV studios, tiny slivers of Afghan journalism remains. Dissent is non-existent. Diversity is banned. But the memories of the last 20 years will not fade easily. South Asia Bureau, WION, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.